This channel is proudly brought to you by... I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch!
Linking on my brain. Okay. Linking on my brain. I got linking on my brain. Whoa.
What's up, guys? Mike the MGTOW man again, bringing you another video. Look what we have here. It's time to get into that shield wall, gentlemen.
Okay, MGTOW is an online movement where men are rejecting women, they're rejecting marriage, they're rejecting relationships.
Okay, starts off the video wrong. Not a movement, this is a philosophy. And yes, we are rejecting marriage. We're not necessarily rejecting women. That's kind of a slight stretch of the truth there. You see, not all of us are monks. And believe it or not, some of us have women in our families. So we're not rejecting women. We're just not going to propose. We're not going to cohabitate, and we're not going to have children with them. That's not rejection. That's called looking at the statistics and being smart. Now, until things change in our favor, we have a right to decide to choose ourselves first and also put our safety, first, as far as our financial and mental stability. We have a right to put that first. That is a part of our pursuit of happiness. If it makes us happier to avoid the court system, and we pursue the avoidance of that court system, it is our right.
And it's usually because of, past experiences where they've been dumped or cheated on or something like that.
Or screwed over, or lied to, or taken advantage of, or divorce raped, or your kids got taken away and you had to pay alimony and child support, but you weren't allowed to see your kids because of false claims of abuse by the mother. All of these things go on. So, say the whole thing. Say the whole thing. Don't just pick the shit that makes you feel like, these men are just wimps. He's going to pick like the one or two things, out of the whole list and say, it's because they got cheated on. That's his beta male way of saying, he couldn't satisfy her needs, so he got cheated on. That's why he's MGTOW. That's what he's trying to say. But he's absolutely wrong. You look at stars like Johnny Depp. He can't satisfy these fucking bitches. You gonna call him a beta male too? We got actors like Leonardo DiCaprio that refuse to get married. You gonna call him a beta male too? I would like to see you make that video. I would like to see you make that claim. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And the thing about these MGTOW guys is they all think that they're alphas. They think that men who are MGTOW, they just haven't figured it out, And really nothing could be further from the truth. These guys are beta males, as beta as it gets. And I hate...
I'm sorry, bro, but you have no jawbone, definition. Your upper lip and your upper teeth overlap the bottom by many centimeters. You don't have strong masculine definition in your cheeks, in your eyes, in your eyebrows, in your jawbone structure. You don't have masculine traits in your shoulders. You have feminine shoulders. You are a tiny, tiny guy. You're barely taller than the fucking light switch on the fucking wall. But you want to talk about who's alpha. You and your 145-pound ass. You want to talk about who's alpha.
To use this word, alpha and beta, but that's really the only way I can describe them. They're beta males. Why would you need an online support group to help you get over your feelings or to help you get over your last relationship?
We need MGTOW not as an online support group, as you put it, but as a means of a philosophy in which we can outline our goals and our dreams, as well as wake men up from the matrix of society. If you don't think that there's something wrong with the system in which we live that destroys men, then you're nothing but a traitor. That's what you are. But you want to make these little crackpot points? You haven't made a point yet. You haven't made 1 ounce of a logical statement yet. All I'm hearing is generic shame tactics. And you think you're original? You're not the first one to make any of these points. We knew you weren't original when you started out by calling it a fucking movement. But you're going to sit here and pretend like you've done all the research. Somehow, we're all the beta males. Somehow it's all our fault, right? We've heard this before.
It's not what alpha males do. An alpha male is going to get over it. He's going to go find another woman, and he's going to try again.
Yeah, that's what beta males do. Try again, try again, try again, try again, try again, try again, try again. And, you know, these women will say that they love you and all that, but then a few months later, they're like, oh, I'm just tired of his shit. I'm out. They don't try to work anything out. And the reason why is because women, they like to tell a man what he's doing wrong. But if you get in a woman's face and tell them what they're doing wrong, they try to leave the situation. They'll try to leave you. They'll go tell all their girlfriends and family members how controlling you are because you criticized her. And oftentimes, if a man's criticizing a woman, he's most of the time he's got good points to make. And these fucking women, when they want to criticize men, it's over dumb shit. Like, oh, I don't like the joke that you said earlier. You know, trying to control a man's fucking sense of humor and shit. You don't know what you're talking about.
And, you know, these MGTOW guys, they've thrown in the towel on life, basically. And the sad thing is some of them are like 20, 30 years old. They're not even the kind of age where they should.
I wish I found MGTOW when I was 20 or, when I was in my early 20s. I'm almost 30 now. I wish I would have found it a lot sooner. I found it at the end of my 25th year, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that it has wakened me up and has caused me to inspire other men to also wake up. You can be bitter about it all you want to, but we're not going to sacrifice all of our youth just to wake up in our middle age and realize, in our middle age that everything was bullshit. We're not going to do that. We're not going to sell our fucking goals and dreams to some woman so she can have hers. All the women that, that are in their 20s, they're dating older men. A lot of them are. Because these older men have all the resources and all the power and this and that and the other. And so a lot of younger men are saying, you know what? Fuck you then, bitches. I'm not even going to try. Fuck you. And then when these, younger MGTOW become, 35, 40 years old, then they're, because not everybody in the MGTOW community is a monk, but a lot of these men are going to get older and they're going to have all of their financial security established. And then they can smash and dash all these young, 22-year-olds. Because they're going to have all the money and power to do so safely. But the only way you can do that, if you're rich, is if you give them a fake name. You go to a neighboring city, you don't hook up with girls in your own town, because if the women in your city find out that you're rich, all it will take is one false claim. So go to a neighboring city, give a fake name, say that you're there on business, have a hotel room lined up, and that way it's not suspicious that you have a hotel room. Say you're there on business, and you've accrued all of your wealth for the past 15 to 20 years because you're MGTOW, and you can go, anywhere in public, in a public scene. Flash a little bit of cash around here and there, never spend it on the bitch, talk about work and business, and you could just make the shit up, and then you get it. You could be smashing and dashing bitches throughout your whole 30s and 40s. It's no secret. But if you're dumb and young, and you get a bitch pregnant, well, you just lost 18 years of your life. And you're probably going to end up paying child support. How are you going to be rich now? How are you going to smash and dash bitches in your 40s when you lost all of your money by then because you took the blue pill and you got snared by these bitches? You're just mad that not everybody's going to play the shit show. Not everybody's going to turn it on.
Just settle for being single the rest of their life.
It's not settling to be single for the rest of your life. It's called self-respect when you see what happens when you're not single. You know, when you see what happens to men who are not single in the court system, and you choose pussy as being more important than the potential risks, then you're an idiot. You're a fucking fool.
Now, a lot of these MGTOW guys I noticed lean right politically. They lean toward the right wing. They support.
That's because feminists are on the left. We don't necessarily agree with everything on the right. But it would be far stupid to vote for anybody on the left. Now, our only grievance with the right is that they shame us as well, because they're like, oh, you need to have a family, you need to get married, you need to do this and that. You know, they use the same shame tactics anyway, which only perpetuates the enslavement of men through the court system if they buy into that.
Trump. But their ideology, the MGTOW ideology, is as leftist as it gets. I mean, these guys are basically feminists. They are hand in hand, parallel in their ideology with the feminists.
I have heard that so many times that it's not even funny. Oh, we're feminists, right? You know, I could name just about every cornerstone of feminism. I could name just about all of their talking points, like the wage gap, and I could poke holes into it and prove that it's a lie. However, you haven't said one statistic. Not one statistic that we all echo that you could disprove. So therefore, we are not the same. Feminists lie to push their narrative. They indoctrinate each other to push their agenda. They don't have statistics that are true. If they get a statistic in their favor, 9 times out of 10, honestly, they just water down some other statistic in order to fit their narrative. We don't water down statistics. We give those statistics to you. And they oftentimes make our case.
Is about empowering women and rejecting men, and MGTOW is about empowering men and rejecting women. A lot of feminists.
Sometimes in war, you have to look at who fired the first shot. Women fought the first shot. We gave them the vote. That wasn't good enough. We gave them alimony. That wasn't good enough. We gave them child support. That wasn't good enough. And it never has been, and it never will be good enough. All men want is for society to leave our masculinity alone, and our straightness alone, and our gender alone. Quit blaming us for everything. That's all that we keep asking. And we would also like to, safely engage in marriage, cohabitation, and reproduction. That's all that we ask. We know dark female nature is not going to go anywhere, but when you cater to it legally, it's going to run wild and rampant and unrestrained. Meanwhile, society is trying to restrain male nature and masculinity. And you don't see a problem with that? You don't see a problem with the way that the system is? You're either blind, stupid, or you're just a pussy-worshipping fool. I think you're a mix of each. I think you're just absolutely stupid. I think you're obviously a pussy worshiper. And you're just mad that the rest of us aren't bound by that mental enslavement. It's jealousy.
Become that way because men have hurt them in their lives and they can't get over their feelings. And a lot of men go MGTOW because women have hurt them in their lives and they can't get over their feelings.
It's not that we can't get over our feelings. It's that we can't get over the statistics and the fact that our experiences line up with those statistics. It's called having a intelligence about us and self-respect and a backbone to put ourselves first.
So, this MGTOW ideology is completely anti-nature. It's completely anti-family, anti-relationship. And, what man just wants to be single?
I have said this many times on my channel. I don't want to be single. I didn't even want to be MGTOW, but the problem is that we don't have any other choice at this point. If you have a high enough IQ and you look at the data that we present, it's only logic to want to be single. It's logic. That's just another way of saying, oh, you're not a real man unless you take all of the risks and reap very little of the reward.
Man just doesn't want women in his life. It's brainwashing. They're brainwashed is what they are.
No, we are causing men who were brainwashed previously to deprogram their mind. Putting yourself first above women is not brainwashing. You see, that's how far gone we are in society, guys. That's how gynocentric everything is. When you put yourself first as a man, it's evil. It's programming. You've been brainwashed. When a woman does it, everybody pats her on the back and says, you go, girl. You know, and like, you know, we see these women all the time talking about how they're independent. They don't need no man. Nobody tells them that they're brainwashed except for us. And then they call us brainwashed. Funny how that works. It's funny how that works out.
And the sad thing is, okay, I can understand if you're like, 40, 50, 60 years old.
After you've been divorced, raped a couple times.
You've been through a couple of bad marriages, and
after you've been divorced, raped a couple times.
you just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna be single the rest of my life. Okay, I get it.
After you've been fucked over a couple times.
If you're 60.
After you've been fucked over a couple times.
But you have these guys, these kids who are like 20 years old, and they've
who haven't been fucked over a couple times.
already thrown in the towel before
Because we don't want to be fucked over a couple times.
they even try. They don't even want to go out and try to meet girls.
Not trying to get fucked over. Like the men in their 40s and 50s and 60s. You see, guys, it's obvious on this part of the video that he knows what happens to men that stay in the game. By the time you're in your 40s, that ride is over in that marriage. Whoever you married in your 20s and your 30s, it's going to be over by the time you're in your 40s. Even he obviously acknowledges that. But he's saying, oh, take the risk. Take the divorce rape. Take the alimony rape. Take the fucking child support rape. He's basically saying you have no reason or right to walk away from the shit show until it snares you first. Typical cuck mindset.
And, if you're single and you're like 20 years old, talking to girls should be a full-time job. That
Should be a full-time job. Wow. Worshipping the pussy much, are you?
pretty much one of the only things that's on your mind when it
Only things that's on your mind. Okay, so he wants you to worship pussy, and he wants that to be one of the only things on your mind. Not your success, not building up a career, not financial freedom, not your male sovereignty. No, don't think about those things. You got to think about pussy and getting laid, and that's it. That's it for him.
comes to, social facets of your life is, trying to meet girls. So, these guys are brainwashed. They're anti-family. They're anti-nature. They're basically...
We're not anti-family necessarily. A lot of us have kids. A lot of us were taken advantage in the court system. And we simply try to tell other men, hey, don't follow the same path. I know many MGTOW who have kids from previous marriages. And they are still family men. Sometimes they have to tolerate being in the company of their ex-wife. And they do it for their kids. They deal with her innuendos and her nagging and her manipulative ways. And how she tries to use the kids to get at the husband. And he's still there for his children. So he's not, these MGTOW who have kids, they're not anti-family. They're anti-making the mistake again. They're just not going to make the same mistake twice. A lot of men find MGTOW after they've already been snared. And they just say, hey, I'm not doing it again. One family is enough. So we're not anti-family. And also many of us want to, get a surrogate mother and have our own kids or adopt children out of the foster care system. That way, no woman can tell us how to raise a child. In fact, there's so many single mothers nowadays because they run men out of the homes that 90% of criminals are raised by single mothers. And the fact that we point all these things out, it doesn't make us anti-family. In fact, it means that we value family more. Because we're not willing to get into a situation that is likely to fail when the woman wants to leave and take the kids and then take our financial freedom away. Because you know what happens in the end is the kids suffer. When the husband's pushed out of the home or he's not allowed to lead to begin with, the kids suffer from that. And that's exactly why we have 90% criminals raised by single mothers. So you're wrong again.
A bunch of feminists.
And of course, he ends the video by calling us feminists. He doesn't provide any proof that what we talk about is not true. He doesn't refute any of our statistics because he can't. Anyways, this is Mike the MGTOW Man signing off as always. Never give in, never surrender. MGTOW for life. And since he wants to talk about who is or isn't alpha, here is one of the only videos where you can see proper lighting and you can actually see the structure of his face a lot better than you could in the other video. Look, his neck and his jaw, it's practically the same fucking body part. There's like no jaw there. If he was to shave his fucking chin, you would not even see the definition. And he's balding. And he's got very feminine, thick-rimmed glasses. And he's like 140 pounds soaking wet. In fact, look at this clip. You know, he won this marathon, so congratulations for winning. But you only weighed 140 pounds. So I'm sure it wasn't that hard for you to win the marathon. I'm sure you just went with the wind. I'm sure the wind pushed you half the way. But, that's the only reason why he won the marathon. But look, when you look at this marathon, and he's going to be the guy at the very front. At the left, on the very, very front, with the red shirt, black shorts, and white sneakers. And you're going to see that when he makes it across the finish line, if you look at the vehicle in the back that they kind of run past, the vehicle that's next to the finishing tent, there's a vehicle right there, and he's not even taller than the vehicle. And yet he wants to tell us who is or isn't alpha. Just look at him. LMS would tear you apart. I hope the black pill community uses your photo as an example of what an incel looks like, because that's what you are. Now, based on the fact that your house is pretty well laid out, and it's obvious that you might be, at the brink of your financial success, I would not be surprised that some woman takes advantage of you. See, a lot of incels don't realize how at risk they are. Because once they reach a certain level of success and they start getting, more female attention than they're used to, it's not your personality, it's your wallet. But you think that you're alpha. No, you're a beta male cuck that's going to get taken advantage of. And I can see it. I can look at you and see it. If I took a photo of you and I walked around and asked women if you were alpha, they would say no. They would say no. And I dare you to clap back because I will go do it. I will literally go around asking women if you're alpha. Do you want to test me? I dare you. Anyways, this is Mike the MGTOW Man signing off, and as always, never give in, never surrender. Flood his channel with dislikes. MGTOW for life. Now remember, guys, he's the one in the red shirt, black shorts, white sneakers, and he's going to be at the front. He's the one that won this race. And we know it was windy that day. But watch whenever he comes around the corner and he goes past that finishing tent. Notice how the white vehicle at the far left is taller than he is. But he wants to say who is or isn't alpha. So let's just check this out and let me know. Let me know what you think.